Alrighty, hello everybody. So, as the 3.2, not 13.2, 3.2 stream is coming up, um, I'm deciding to make a bit of a impromptu stream react, I suppose you could say, because the last time I did, I think you guys rather liked it. So, because I'm a bit busy with the Carlotta video at the moment, it is kind of taking up quite a bit of my time. I just decided that this time around I'll do it impromptu, so I'll basically be watching the stream. I won't be streaming this, of course, because you're going to be watching this video, but I'm going to be basically reacting to stream in real time. So just so I can kind of like push this video out a bit, and as you guys can see, it's like 35 seconds. So any reaction you see from me in this video is basically me reacting in real time. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Looking forward to basically what they're going to show in the 3.2 stream. But without further ado, let's get started. I'll be editing this a little bit post-script, so I'll cut out, of course, like the dead time and stuff that is like not super important, just like the last stream react. So without any further ado, yeah, let's hit it. Alrighty, let's go. Oh, that's interesting.
各位漂泊者们，晚上好，欢迎来到明朝3.2版本。
Also, I'm just gonna push back a bit. That's the Lahai alphabet, by the way.
各位漂泊者们，晚上好，欢迎来到明朝3.2版本前瞻通讯，我是主持人维达。第一次来到明朝的前瞻，
OK，
可以和大家一同分享一下新版本的情报。在正式开始之前，两位策划，请先和漂泊者们打个招呼吧。
漂泊者们，晚上好呀！我是大家的老朋友，策划西瓜。
Hello， 漂泊者们好，我是明朝项目组的策划弗拉。
OK。
相信大家记得，在3.1版本的末尾，我们从残星会会长的口中得知，在学院的学生里居然还有一名残星会的成
Yes,
员。
that is correct.
在盛会换日庆典中，他们似乎也要有所动作。如今，我们再次回到了熟悉的星之学院，在这里也即将和大家一起迎来热闹的换日庆典。
哎呀，
在今天现场的布置好像并不是庆典的氛围啊。
没错，我们确实正在筹备换日庆典，而接下来要探索的学院暗面，正是这场庆典中
Academy's dark side, interesting, because there is like a lot of dark components.
听起来像是形容一个物理的空间，又像是一种心理状态的。
That is correct.
可以把它理解为学院的影子，它并非实体，而是一个特殊的索诺拉。
Oh, so the dark side is a sonorosphere. So basically, I think that actually this almost feels a little bit like the forgery challenges. If you check the descriptions of forgery challenges, they're like nightmare scenarios for what would happen to the academy. But this physical, it's not a physical entity, but it is an actual place. It's a little bit metaphysical, I guess you could say.
因受到学院师生艺术的共鸣力和其他因素的影响，最终成长为学院的镜像。当然了，这其中不只有强烈的热爱、坚定的理想，也必然会有焦虑和失落。
是的，它就像一面诚实的镜子，映照出光鲜之下的影子。
So it's like basically a shadow of the academy, which is like a lot of the sonorospheres basically are that, right? Because I'm working on the Carlotta video right now, it kind of reminds me of basically Carlotta's sonorosphere and her alter ego, but it's a pretty common trend within Wuthering Waves. So yeah.
正如掉进兔子洞前，有好奇也有恐惧，这些奇妙的想法，如果任由它们堆积，就可能反过来影响学生。
Oh, okay.
有这样一个成分复杂的情绪漩涡，岂不是很危险？学院又是如何管理它的？
为了不让暗面失控，
Well, like, I feel like it's kind of weird because the way they kind of say is like if the Startwatch Academy itself it has enough people and enough like tense emotions to create a sonorosphere, I feel like this phenomena would be present in a lot more places. But maybe it's just because the Startwatch Academy has a lot of worries and has a lot of concerns or unique a place that it is large enough and strong enough to manifest a sonorosphere.
如何管理它的呢？
为了不让暗面失控，有些不愿意透露身份的人，
Oh,
通过举办解谜游戏，
riddle games.
去能量限制在一个一个的谜题当中。每年解谜游戏都成了学
So it's almost like a celebration. So it's actually like, I mean, it's like, of course, a preventative measure, but it's like kind of like not super high stakes, which kind of makes sense because I feel like this patch, they gotta kind of like calm down a little bit. It's basically kind of like the drop in the roller coaster, because 3.1 was such a hectic update.
释放压力、直面困惑的一种特殊的方式，通过解开谜题，暗面中淤积的情绪。
Yeah, this doesn't sound like, yeah, it's like a motion regulation system. It doesn't sound like that high stakes, which is kind of like, I guess it's kind of like 2.8 in a way, where you get to relax a little bit after the emotional roller coaster that was 3.1.
情绪调节系统，但是这一次它出问题。
Yeah, of course.
敏锐，没错。随着换日庆典的临近，一股陌生的频率侵入暗面本身
Praxidus involvement, perhaps.
许多学生的心理状态也出现了异常。更令人不安的是，其中似乎滋养出了不该存在的残像。
Okay.
这是不是和之前残星会长预告的游戏
Oh yeah, this could, because this was if you guys don't know, this was the cutscene at the end of 3.1 of Luke's story, where the Grand Architect revealed that there was a student hiding as a spy amidst the New Solar ceremony.
有所乱言？会长想要扰乱学院的秩序，而暗面的应变无疑正是一场从内部蔓延的混乱。
Yeah, basically, yeah.
漂泊者和学院方最担忧的。为此，洛瑟拉校长向漂泊者发出了一封特殊的，
Okay.
或者说是一把钥匙，希望由你亲自进入暗面。
I'm very interested in what they mean as a key. That's a very interesting word to use.
这或许是揭开会长接下来行动的关键。
这一次的探索不仅是解谜本身，这些谜题背后也连接着学生们真实的。
So I feel like this is going to be a bit more slice of life, kind of like update, which is fine. Like, as I said before, it's kind of like 2.8. It's like a bit of a detox, relax update.
悲伤，而财星会布下的陷阱，也许正等。
And of course, Fraxis are going to be involved, right? So, like, basically, we're going to probably get some plot reveals, even if they're going to be rather minor ones relative to 3.1.
片映照着人心的区域被别有用心者窥私利用时，带来的危机着实不容小觑。这场于暗面中的无声较量，残星会的游戏或许已经开始了。
The White Rabbit.
白兔走入庆典，前往学院。
白兔. So the Chinese word you said 白兔, it's White Rabbit, but it's in Chinese, I guess you could say it kind of like has a bit more of like a connotation of innocence. So apologies. This Bai Tu character, I wonder who the Bai Tu is. Like, it might be, for example, like Sagrika, or maybe like it's like kind of like a nickname for like the Grand Architect, but I don't know.
让那只白兔走入庆典，前往学院暗面了。那么接下来就让我们通过3.2版
All right, let's hit it, guys.
从熟悉的日常学院进入光怪陆离的学院暗面吧。
请观看3.2版本 TV 与影
Resolution to illuminate the shadows. Okay.
显明的决心。
So I'm assuming that this is okay, so like the White Rabbit, the Baitu was like a literal entity. So maybe like a manifestation of the Snorasphere?
Do you really?
Oh, and of course, like Sagrika makes like a entrance. I feel like Sagrika as well is gonna be a character that gets enveloped a lot within the dark side because she has a lot of characters since she's going to be one of the people that succeed and become one of the Heliotic Six, right? So there's gonna be a lot of pressures weighing on her. And of course, like there's those memes where like Sagrika just realized her friend Nomora's dead. So like that's also kind of cooked.
Within yourselves, don't do others.
You know what this reminds me, like this White Rabbit, right? Doesn't this remind you a little bit of Alice in Wonderland? And the way Sagrika kind of moves here, right? It's a very Alice in Wonderland kind of esque vibe.
Really?
Like the rabbit kind of like hopping around and like Sagrika following it. She's almost taking on the role of Alice
Yourself.
in Lewis Carroll's story. Yeah, like this is Alice in Wonderland, no?
Trust you? Don't.
Yeah, following the hare, following the rabbit.
Why not just give up? You always
This is gonna like this is so Alice in Wonderland core, chasing the rabbit. Like my god, there.
going to disappoint them.
And this is is this the sun? No, I feel like this is a kind of like nightmare scenario of like the Sonorosphere. So as I said before, a lot of these nightmare scenarios show up within the forgery challenges. If you go to any of the high-risk forgery challenges, you can read there's a lot of nightmare scenarios within that scenario, and this is something that appears to be something like that.
Welcome to the psychological threshold alternative.
What the hell? Psychological threshold alternative therapies? So that sounds like something a Sigmund Freud would invent. What the hell? Overtonic. What the hell? But I like kind of like how it's kind of like just what I said. I feel like this is gonna be a bit more of like a relaxed, more chill patch, which is good, I guess.
So full of ideals and passion, but also anxiety.
That's Rover speaking.
Full is to like the whole.
Ooh. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be like a relaxing patch. It's like an alternate world where you get to chill, and you put saving your daughter on a bit of a put it on speed dial while you basically just wait and do this.
What kind of game would do something like this? We have to stop it.
Yeah, I feel like Sigrika. Yeah, okay. So like you're gonna basically explore with Sigrika because as I said before, Sigrika has like a lot of stuff to deal with. But I guess you can kind of look into a character because one of the things of Sigrika is that because she's going to be one of the Heliotic Six, she's gonna be pretty important later on. So I feel like this may be a bit of an introductory patch for her, where you get to kind of like form a bit of a connection with her during exploring this kind of dark side. Because like, if you guys don't remember, in 3.1, Sigrika kind of like looked at us like we were like crazy. So she probably doesn't have the greatest impression of you at the moment.
I can help you solve these strange riddles. No delays, truly.
And also, her accent. Her accent actually sounds quite Scandinavian rather than Norwegian. So it's like it's actually pretty good. They're actually hiring voice actors, which are like definitely they've done. Like for example, Zani that actually matches the sort of symbolic kind of like background of the characters. Because as we know, the Royans are kind of very heavily based in Scandinavian mythology, Norse mythology, and of course, like ideally, you'd hire like a Norwegian person to voice the Royans, right? So yeah.
Straight to the stars.
No, that's a really funny. What is that? That's a really funny old animation.
Straight to the stars.
That's such a goober. That's such a goober for old animation. What the hell? future member of the Heliotic Six, by the way. Just if you didn't know that already. Okay, a lot of star like imagery, and she uses a lot of solar skin. Okay, and I think it was mentioned before she has a lot of like mentions of runes. With Sigrika, I have to look into a bit, but her name almost seems a little bit kind of like connected to some figures, like you know, like it's connected to figures like Valkyries and like Sigdrifa, who are all like kind of like figures that are not just related to like victory and people who fight back against the end of times being Ragnarok, but also Sigdrifa, who's a real figure in Norse mythology, by the way, is linked to rune reading. And I think in previous patches we saw how Sigrika has like this ability to read Royan runes. So it's going to be a really interesting kind of like thing to unpack her symbolism, but we'll save that for 3.2. We'll see how it is, what plays out. But over here we can see already, these students have all become pawns in Fraxis' little show. Quite an interesting little thing to say. So the Fraxis, so basically what we said before, how the Fraxis has an involvement this year with the dark side of the academy was correct, basically.
Pawns in Metraxidus.
Wait, who's that? That's a bit of an interesting character. We haven't seen this person before.
This isn't about proving myself.
Wait. Who's that person? No, that's Sigrika, but who is that person?
Have all become pawns in Metraxidus.
That's an interesting character. We haven't seen this character before. So she has red gloves, pink hair. She's wearing like a fur coat, but like we don't know this person. I don't think we've seen her before.
This isn't about proving myself anymore. It's about
That's Lucilla, and of course again the motif of the White Rabbit, Alice in Wonderland. We said it already.
This is all your doing.
Who's the voice? That is like kind of like the voice of the Sonora, let's just call it. Wonder who that is. Maybe that's kind of like Sagrika's alter ego, but that might just be like the Carlotta speaking because I'm working a Carlotta video at the moment.
Your expectation.
You know, like the last time we saw this scene actually was like how the tables are falling into space, it's falling into place, sorry, was when we were about to confront Ameth in 3.1, the tables and the chairs form a bridge to get into her mind space. That kind of reminds me of that.
Expectations are the chains that bound.
That's definitely about Sigrika, right? Because she has a duty as one of the Helios 6.
I thought you
It's this character. Who is this character? So, okay, she has like this, like, you know, like the people, like the cutout, like the paper cutout of like people, and then that seems like some sort of I don't know what that is, but she has like blue hair inlays, like some sort of like chain. That's really weird. We haven't seen this character before. I don't think they're of the Fraxis because I mean it says I thought you might have been linked to recent disturbances, but is this really a Fraxis Overseer? It doesn't match the vibe, because all the Fraxis Overseers we've seen wear red, right? And she does have red gloves we saw before, but is she a Fraxis? Oh, wait. Wait, isn't that Cristoforo's pin in her hair? And she has red gloves. She might actually be a Fraxis Overseer or linked to Fraxis. Is this perhaps Siren or Hydra from 3.1, like when Luke talked about? I feel like this might be Siren or Hydra, right? Because the Grand Architect said that there was someone in the academy, one more student that was messing stuff up. I think this might be her. She might not be an overseer, but she might be linked. I think she's linked to Fraxis. I think that's like Cristoforo's like hairpin as well. And then she has red gloves, which matches the Fraxis design.
Been linked to the recent disturbances.
Oh, wait, that's also a new character. That's also a new character. Okay, wait, hold on. Give me a second, I need to process this. Wait, so she's holding a sword like that. So she's using a sword, has white hair. So perhaps like she's clad in all white. So she might be linked to Snow. Also, that, by the way, that is very similar to the Golden Chrysanthemum, which is a symbol of, well, it's not really a symbol of Imperial Japan, it's just a symbol of Japan. It's a Golden Chrysanthemum. That's also like, I'm not gonna say it's a Blake Bloom because it's white, but that's a Golden Chrysanthemum. So yeah, like that's a Golden Chrysanthemum, and on her sleeves, that's the symbol of the Sakura. That's a Sakura symbol. That almost looks like the symbol of the Sakura Empire from Azure Lane. So she's wearing white and red, which is the color of. Wait. She's wearing white and red. Yeah, that's a Sakura blossom. She's wearing white and red. I think she's a very Japanese-focused resonator. Like everything about her speaks it. Golden Chrysanthemum, the Sakura blossom symbol, and then like her hair, like hair tie is also very Japanese inspired. So this is kind of like, I feel like you guys may know this already because like it's been talked about on Twitter a lot, but I think that this is the Miko character. So there's like a character like a Miko which has been talked about quite a lot as being close to President Lucilla. I haven't talked about that yet, but I do think this is the Miko character. I mean, everything towards it points to like towards that conclusion because it's a Japanese-focused character, and there's no reason for like a Japanese or a Shinoharan character to be in the Hyrule unless it had very special circumstances, right? And those special circumstances most likely leads her to be close to President Lucilla. Interesting. Wait. Okay. Those are new TDs, right? Wait, hold on.
Thought you
There's too much shit to like cover right now. And also one more thing as well.
I thought you might have been linked to the recent disturbances.
Yeah, over here. Like you just had a shot of like her dress, right? Which is like red and white. If this is the Miko, right? I think this is the Miko, because a Miko is a shrine maiden in Japanese like kind of like folklore, right? And then that dress is the same like kind of like attire that a shrine maiden wears. So I'm pretty sure it's a Miko. Yeah. Wait, let me see her shoes. So is there a shot of her shoes?
wings to the recent stir.
No, her shoes are not like a shrine maiden, but there's like kind of like sakura blossoms on her shoes as well. She doesn't have like the like heightened sort of like sandals that a shrine maiden would wear, but everything else about her sounds like a shrine maiden. Because like like Miko's are shrine maidens, right? Okay. And also this shot. That's a TD, but isn't that like a Fraxis? Kind of like, isn't that like a, you know how like Fraxis members have like body modifications, right? I think that's a Fraxis TD, and she's commanding the other TDs. It might be, yeah, this is Fraxis involvement. Okay.
So you're just another victim.
So we have Fraxis TDs, we have the Miko character, I'm assuming, and then we have another character here,
Step down.
like this character who seems like basically they're the student the Grand Architect was talking about that was gonna like that was integrated into the students that was going to disrupt the ceremony. Interesting. Okay.
Might have been wings to the recent stir.
I want to find the answer myself.
Okay. Interesting. A lot of new reveals. So like the White Rabbit, we have probably like a new Fraxis Overseer, perhaps, maybe Siren or Hydra, or they might not be a Overseer, but they probably are linked to Fraxis. And then we also have the Shrine Maiden, like the Miko character, I'm assuming. Okay, and then of course the Greek herself.
感觉像掉进了另一个世界。造势和送射在暗面中却呈现出
Different atmosphere.
对我来说有一种非常奇特的吸引力，感觉比起陌生的空间，这里可能会让我不安。
不错的描述。
Okay.
暗面本身就是学生们狂想扎根生长的地方，里面堆满了奇思妙想，而解谜或许正是一次直面内心的对话。
A riddle solving is like a direct conversation with one's inner self. That's a bit interesting. Because, I mean, there's probably like something with psychology you could draw out of that. Riddle solving is like a direct conversation with oneself. I have to think about that.
就像是一个充满无限
A rabbit hole of endless possibilities, guys. Again, where have we heard this before? Isn't that like, I think that's a line from Alice in Wonderland, because Alice jumps into the rabbit hole to enter the Wonderland, right? It's just Alice in Wonderland.
动。相信不少漂泊者也注意到了，在 PV 中穿梭
The White Rabbit darting through a trailer, yes. Guide. So it's like, it's basically kind of like a little bit like Namipon, I guess, but it doesn't talk. And it's like Alice in Wonderland.
想追上去看看，而我们也在跟随兔子前进的
Here's Uri.
遇到了一位
Sigurika, yeah.
说到西格丽卡，
And the way they say Sigurika in Chinese as well seems to imply to me as well that it's a transliteration of the name, which means that Sigurika's like name symbolism most likely is more attuned to English rather than Chinese, because the way to say it, Sigurika, is a transliteration. It's not like a Chinese name.
过程中遇到了一位少
日六系尤其擅长解读罗提卡。我们
Heliotic 6 successor, yes, we know. And then also, as we said before, she's skilled at interpreting Royan roots, right? We know that from the lore you can get from 3.1 already. So, as we said before, there's some links there because there's a figure, I think, in Norse mythology called Sigdrifa, right? And Sigdrifa was a Valkyrie. She was a warrior that chose to actually side with a doomed king that opposed Odin. And Sigdrifa taught that king how to read runes. And eventually she failed. She kind of like lost because she sided with Doom King. She refused to serve Odin, who was the god, the like father of the god, the Norse gods, right? So that might be some symbolic foreshadowing for how she's gonna meet a terrible ending, or maybe Sigrika, because I'm pretty sure like Sigrid and also like Sig in German as well, because kind of like evolves, right? Means victory. That's what kind of like Sigrika's name is very heavily attuned with victory. So we don't know for sure what her name may mean, but some interesting thoughts to think about.
解读罗伊文。
是的，听说西格丽卡最近也一直在解，所以他此次出现在暗面也绝非偶然。
Oh, okay.
他收到了一幅
A rune-based picture riddle. Okay.
无法谜题，但在他咨询过洛瑟拉校长后，却被告知主办方并没有发布过这样的谜题。 而西格丽卡自己也察觉到了暗面的异常，那些凭空产生的
Strange runes appearing out of nowhere. So is it like her forte is basically reading the world of runes or receiving some sort of prophecy?
符文，究竟是谁出于什么目的启动了这一切？这对于漂泊者来说也是一个关键的调查方向。
Okay, so runes are going to be pretty important. Yeah, and I mean, like, runes, of course, have a pretty big part in Norse mythology because they are essentially kind of like an elevated level of knowledge. So, for example, Odin, the father of the gods, actually had to sacrifice his eye to Mimir in order to learn how to read. Sorry, not Mimir. He had to sacrifice something. Like he had to. Sorry, I'm just speaking out of my ass right now. Odin had to hang upside down from the branches of Yggdrasil, the world tree. I think it was for like 3 days and nights in order to gaze into the well of knowledge to learn how to read runes. So runes have a kind of prophetic, higher level of knowledge that gives one a lot of power, right? And that might link, of course, to Royans, which in turn links perhaps the Exostrider.
并再次进入暗面联手调查。
这么看来，感觉西格丽卡更像是一位主动的调查。
Active investigator. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be real. I feel like I'm trying to figure out right now, right? Because obviously this patch is going to be kind of like linked to Sigrika, with you and her like investigating the runes and essentially the dark side. I'm trying to like if this whole thing is based on Alice in Wonderland, which I'm assuming it is, but like quite obviously from all we've talked about, who is Alice in this story? Is it Rover or is it Sigrika?
这么看来，感觉西格丽卡更像是一位主动的调查者，是出于对留子女真相本身的执着才出现在岸边的。
没错，而且啊，或许大家也已经有所察觉，那只
The rabbit that keeps appearing. It's hinting at something. Okay.
想要抵达真相，唯一的途径
Venturing deeper. What do? What do you do in Alice in Wonderland? You keep venturing deeper to unravel the mystery to eventually find your way back home.
开更深的谜题。
那么这场关于暗面的冒险将会如何展开呢？
在3.2版本中，潮汐任务第3章第4
Okay. The quest name is called Gold Suspended in Shadows. So that's a bit ominous because, of course, like, if you remember in the previous chapter with Look, we talked a lot about how within Look symbolism, gold has a kind of double-edged meaning where it's, of course, luxurious and beautiful, but it hides like kind of like a putrid, greedy side to it that can bring and or spell on doom.
黄金将于3月19日
And gold to spend in shadows. I mean, like just, you guys can figure it out, right?
开始，漂泊者将与西格丽卡一起在学院暗面见证那些漂
Surging fantasies.
关于暗面谜题背后的真相。这位拼尽全力、不甘示弱的
Refuses to be outdone. Okay, so that's basically what her personality is like. So she chases Rover as well.
将在迷局中直面所有试炼。
This feels very 2.8 Honami. Like S, right? Which is like fine because like I mean it's not just the setting but also the fact that this feels a bit more like a relaxing patch, which in my opinion I kind of enjoy, right? Like I like to have a patch to relax and just kind of like compose my thoughts for a little bit. And I think that this is going to be a patch where, unlike 2.8, you get a lot of plot reveals. Like we talked about how already, for example, we're possibly getting like a new Fraxis Overseer or like at least a Fraxis member. We get, for example, Sigrika, of course, as like the future Helioric 6. And we also get the Miko character, like the Shrine Maiden, right? So I feel like it's kind of like a bit of a relaxing patch, but there are a lot of lore details that keep you kind of like engaged, push the story forward a little bit. Like I like the approach you're taking, to be honest.
在幕间潮汐序文
Rabbit Reflecting Shades, like guys, come on, like it's so Alice in Wonderland core. Like it's I think it's beyond question.
影面颠倒的兔影将于4月9日开放。漂泊者
Also, one thing I want to say as well is that I understand Chinese, right? So like, I'm kind of like tuning in with like the Chinese speaking. Like the translation is actually pretty good. I have to commend them for that.
将与洛瑟拉校长一起彻底解决暗面中异变的根源，而一些未曾言明的
Ooh, who's that? Who's that? Who's that?
可能随之。
That's okay. Like that's basically confirmed. That's the Miko character, right? And the Miko character is talking to Lucilla. This it's basically confirmed. Like this is the Miko character because if you guys remember from the lore, one of the students said like the Miko dressed in red was seen talking with President Lucilla, right? So to thoroughly resolve the source of dark side anomaly, some long unspoken past. So basically, she has a long connection with Lucilla, right? And I've been kind of like thinking a little bit about who this Miko character could possibly be. And if you guys have watched my video on the FedExo Strider and how they failed to deliver a Sentinel, I have a suspicion that the Sentinel that I theorize to be sleeping underneath Sundami, underneath basically where the Exostrider's sword is, that lake. What if that Sentinel was actually destined for Ashinohara, right? And that's why, for example, Ashinohara is majorly destroyed, probably because they didn't receive a Sentinel as well. And what if this Japanese-inspired like Shrine Maiden character is actually a caretaker for that Sentinel that never arrived in Ashinohara, that Sentinel that is currently in Lahairoi? Because I just kind of struggle to understand why a Japanese character, which we can assume comes from Ashinohara, because, you know, like it's kind of like Japanese inspired, right? We can assume that why would this Ashinoharan character be in Lahairoi of all places, right? There's probably a really good reason. And also, we know, right, she's like connected to President Lucilla. And if you guys remember from when I first talked about the Sentinel in Lahairoi, the information that there is a Sentinel in Lahairoi is very secretive. So only the Heliotic Six of the Royans know about it because Rover told them, and the Academy, I'm assuming only the top level know about the Sentinel in Lahairoi. Because if you check the, what was it? I think it was the Etching Plains, or it was one of the Lahairoi map law entries. It says that when they discovered the anomalous kind of thing that was being suspended within Sundami Lakebed, as soon as they discovered that entry and all information was redacted and scrubbed immediately. So the Academy knows that there is an Exostrider on Lahairoi, but they chose to kind of pursue, sorry, not an Exostrider, a Sentinel in Lahairoi, but they chose to pursue powering up the Exostrider instead, because there is some sort of higher level system encased within the Sentinel's like hibernation pod, I'm assuming, that they are not able to crack. So if you kind of think about how within the Academy, there's going to be some people that know about the existence of a Sentinel. Of course Lucilla knows about it, right? Because of course Lucilla knows about it because she's the headmaster. And if this Miko character, this Shrine Maiden, is connected to Lucilla, then it may very well be that that Sentinel is actually what was meant to be a Shinohara Sentinel, because we know the FedExo Strider, I just call it the FedExo Strider now. We know the FedExo Strider failed its delivery and crash landed in Lahairoi. So Lahairoi shouldn't have gotten a Sentinel in the first place. I think personally, like a bit of a theory of mine, I suppose, that this Japanese theme, like Shrine Maiden, because Shrine Maidens are like kind of meant to like communicate and take care of gods, right? In Japanese culture. What if this character is basically kind of like the closest thing you have to a Sentinel Resonator? Like I don't think they're like Sentinel Resonator per se, because of course, within our FedExo Strider video, we talked about how the Sentinel Lahairoi is kind of sleeping or hibernating or damaged in some way, shape, or form, right? I guess you can say that she's connected to Sentinel maybe as a caretaker, because the Sentinel is sleeping, the hibernation pod, which I'm guessing is kind of like residing in, is still being powered by the Exostrider, according to, I think, the Etching Plains law. So this character may be linked to Sentinel, this may be a caretaker, which is why they have such high connections with Lucilla. Because if anyone within Star Torch Academy knows about the Sentinel, it's going to be Lucilla, who is in the highest position currently, right? That's my theory.
之浮现。
其实在我的印象里，那个丽凯是一个认真、开朗、明亮、活泼的小太阳。
Okay, 小太阳 all right.
积极感，不服输。
Determination,
这个形容和出现她的感觉。
competitive. So she's very like, she pushes herself a lot. Okay.
觉得温暖又明亮的女孩子，她是罗伊符文的共鸣者。
Yeah, we talked about the runes already. Okay. And we know that basically the Soul Spawn, they get trained from birth based on their resonance powers. So it's definitely a very demanding position. I think that's Sigrika's past being pressured quite a lot, not just as a student, but also as like her future duty that she needs to fulfill as one of the Heliotic Six is going to be explored a lot within the dark side of the Academy, which, as we know, is sort of like a realm manifestation, a shadow of the pressures and the kind of like boiling over of the Academy's kind of like vices and, like bad emotions.
不过，这个身份也让他早早背负起了罗伊族人与
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said, right?
时代。
在大家眼中啊，他是又优秀又可靠的。
But behind, underneath, like the surface, she's struggling,
未来密日六席，
She's gonna be one of like those characters.
人家的孩子，
Oh my god, bro. I don't know if you guys like the way they like the term in Chinese makes it like someone else's perfect child. The term in Chinese makes so much sense. 爷人家的孩子 is a term in Chinese that if you are Asian, if you're Chinese, you would have heard your parents say this so many times. It's basically when like Asian like parents are really famous for comparing you to someone else's kid that's doing better. Just like for example, when you say, 你看别人家的孩子都能填单行 or whatever, right? So like saying, oh, this other kid's like, this other kid is so good at playing piano. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, you gotta study hard, whatever, right? So this, like, I mean, someone else's perfect kid, it makes a lot more sense in Chinese, but that's that's almost like a traumatizing kind of phrase for a lot of like Chinese kids. My God.
但背后其实也藏着很大的压力。这样的
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Like she has a lot of pressure, a lot of yali, right?
人家的孩子是不是？但背后其实也藏着很大的压力。这样的他，
That's exactly what I said. Yeah.
有重视责任。
Bro, she deeply cares about her friends. Wait until she finds out that Navarre is dead. That's kind of crazy.
会为了满足他人的期待而拼尽全力，
She's a person that is under pressure and has to meet like a perfect image. Exactly what I said.
使者能做好一切的笑容。
Bro, guys. When was the last time
使者能做好
we saw someone who said that they could handle everything and made this exact same pose? Bro, Rover, save your daughter, bro. Save your daughter, bro.
笑容。这个世界好像总是在跟他说着必须完美、迷茫和
Yeah, like we can already kind of tell like what kind of character she is. Yeah.
那么接下来就让我们走进
I feel like Rover's like feeling that he doesn't want to like Rover doesn't want this girl to turn out like their own kid, like just like don't become another Amos, bro.
值得他，正式给漂泊者们介绍这位如日光般温暖可爱的少女。
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a convene animation, right? So she has like a child, like I mean, I think we already know because of the soul spawn, and the what was it the little goobers called again? Yeah, like the solar skin. She's like has a very like playful side, but that's got of course juxtaposed with the pressures and the expectation of perfection that is imposed on her. This is a really nice convene animation, by the way. I really like this convene animation. It's really well done.
感觉是一个特别美好的画面，橘金色的布仿佛可以感受到。
And I think we've seen this already, but not the L2D version. Like this was a very good kind of like banner image. I think a lot of people like this.
明媚又充满生机，而且可以看得出来，日灵还有小动物们都非常喜欢。
Mm,
是的，西格丽卡是日灵的朋友，
very feminine soul
他
skin.
们总有一天会回归于树。
Oh, so like basically she's like taking care of them until like they will leave her.
离别应有重量。
That's sad.
他喜欢骑着废裙在浮光林与冰原漫步，也喜欢观察并拍摄小鸟。
Damn bird photographer.
拍不到小鸟的正面，或许小鸟那份想飞就飞的自在，正是他悄悄向往的样子。
Oh my, and then again, there's like another, like what they just said here, right? Perhaps a bird's freedom to fly wherever they wish is something that she yearns for. That's a metaphor that was expressed by Chakona all the way back in her story, back in Renacita. They like using this metaphor a lot.
就飞得自在，正是他
The freedom of flying, even if the cost of falling is immense.
会跟妈妈通话时说会好好照顾自己的小女孩。
Nah, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of, that's kind of cute. Bit of a little goober.
它承载了很多爱与期待，哪怕有时他还没准备好爱那个必须完美的自己。前面也提到，西格丽卡
Being able to kind of read runes while doing all this is kind of crazy. Or she's pulling that like a carrot.
的这样，按照罗伊族的说法，这大概是一种
And I find this kind of funny because, like, I mean, if she's using the Solar Skin's power, like, the Solar Skin come from the neural networks of the Exostrider, right? So she's basically just using, like, think about it this way, right? I don't think I'm capping. Think about it this way. If the Solar Skin come from the Exostrider's neural pathways, isn't she literally just using the Exostrider's RAM to power her combat? Think about it. Let that sit in for a moment.
但天赋并不意味着一切。正因为天赋有它的边界，西格丽卡付出成倍的努力，用自己的所有时间去研究符文，去理解生活。
Interesting.
这个身份的人，就像他从不觉得自己的天赋有多了不起，而努力。
Bro, she's like the model student. Like, I feel like this is kind of traumatizing to like a lot of like Chinese kids. She's like the model student that everyone compares their own kids to.
没错，西格丽卡的战斗方式
Tied to runes, as I said, right? Like it's most likely that her forte and her power is tied to runes.
当然也离不开日灵伙伴的陪伴与助力。西格丽卡是一名气动属性的武士，
We'll skip ahead a little bit.
武器会手持罗伊族惯用的匕首
Ornamental dagger. Okay. So like, I mean, ornamental daggers are usually used for like kind of like religious ceremonies.
利落的动作攻击敌人，同时它可以在战斗时陪伴，释放不同的波纹的上限。
So she carries. It's like almost like the rune capacity is almost like Buling's thing where Buling charges up for, I think it was 4 symbols of the I Ching. No, it was 2. Sorry, it was 2. But it's like kind of similar. Like because like the I Ching symbols are almost like runes, right? So it's like almost a similar kind of like forte system.
能量也分组合。
Combinations of 2 runes. I'm actually kind of interested as well. Maybe the runes is something that we can read and are like actually based on real Norse runes. Because if that's the case, we could probably decipher the meanings behind them.
对敌人完成组合技后，日灵符文阵，
喜欢
Okay.
又始终温暖可爱。
这个5星碧铠
Soul Sworn ciphers. Okay. There's not really so much like kind of like symbolic behind that name just yet.
也
符文光辉，
这把碧铠是大家依赖的西格丽文构成，整体流淌着紫蓝色决心。
All right, I'm just gonna start skipping ahead because I feel like this video is getting a bit too long.
和愿望般，
去承担的重
希望朝日易助，
嗯哼
写下注脚。
它在忍者西格好给大家带来有效时间内。
All right, that's the first redemption code. We're just gonna skip ahead. Okay.
那么相信接下来我们就一起来
Celebration content.
整个学年便有了更多可以，这也是为
继续
功。这对于
Success of Helios. Okay, new solar celebration. So we're actually gonna be doing the new solar celebration. It's gonna be kind of like almost like the moon chasing festival from 1.3 or 1.2.
好的不，在这里大家
是非
寺庙想对于他们装点
Solemn rites.
文化展厅。
Cultural gallery. And the Doomsday prophecies recorded in Shrine Myth are really important. We talked about this already, but the Doomsday prophecy, what is that? That's Ragnarok.
来唤起族
刚刚我们说的捉女
点不同。
房墙
Wait, well, that was a black cat. I just kind of like spaz out for a second. That's the same black cat from the Somnoya event, by the way. And what is Black Cat's kind of linked to? Rover.
令人印象深刻。
所有的探索欲和想象，还请漂泊者
I'm assuming this is the dark side, yeah, because like that's a dark side because you can kind of see like the ghost of the student here. Yeah.
说回来，除了练的玩法，
欢迎漂泊者跟随主线的推进，
It's right to Mind Dive Arcade. Okay. Like VR, I'm assuming?
欢快。
听得我已经迫不及待。
贝尔学部，都是被装在这里我吧的有意待遇，
经典的
在下部令人喜忧。
Phagocyte bipolar. I don't know what that means. Bipolar. Okay. I mean bi means of like of course 2, right? Okay.
令人悲泣。
Miserock. So they're all like arcs. Okay. Maybe that links to the person who created them, because I mean it's Siren and Hydra who creates kind of like the body modified Fruxus members, right? Hysterarch. I mean, Hysterok probably links to Hysteria. Miserock probably links to the Mises or like Misery. I need to research this bipolar. I think I mean, I don't want to say bipolar, but maybe. Milliner, okay. Praxidus Milliner. Mordor. I mean, like Maw is kind of like a word that you would use to describe like fangs and kind of like the jaw, like the gaping mouth of a beast, right? Or Mordor, and like I'm assuming like maybe these are like fangs within her sleeves.
残星
Praxidus Ripper. Okay, there's not so much to kind of like deconstruct there. Okay.
是挺大的。
Artificers. Yeah, new artificers. I'm assuming that Siren and Hydra made these.
乍一看，甚至有点像刻意
Because usually, like, I mean, we talked about within the Fraxis Overseer video, but Siren and Hydra are like kind of like detestable kind of like monsters themselves. So probably the creations they make are also, you know, very linked to
在庆典的公。
these monstrous kind of creations, yeah.
那接下来就为大家送上
Second redemption code.
创作者带来更
Alright, Rabbit Hole. Again, a little bit of a Alice in Wonderland reference. We'll skip ahead a little bit.
兴许与真近远也将
Oh, Choyuan's getting rerun, okay.
活动
将会
Phoebe.
还记得梦想的学生，
啊，那就
They haven't told us who's the resonator for the second half of the update, right? Give me a second. They haven't. Is there going to be one? Because like, okay, I'm assuming the first banner is Choyuan and Sigrika, right?
以光谷
Who's the second banner? So is it just gonna be Lene and Zani
行云
and Phoebe?
新配枪异彩
Wait, so is there going to be a character for the second half of the update? I'm pretty sure there is, right? It might be that you're just keeping a little bit of a secret.
学活动后
Maybe. It could be like Heart of Fear, almost.
讲过社团
They'd probably keep it very secretive. But like other than that, like the other options is that they're just no character. They're just free rerun characters. There's just no character second half. I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't know.
那就不得不提
Psychological fresh. This is the thing that I said like was kind of like reminded me of something like this is the sort of shit that Sigmund Freud would come up with. But whatever.
启示。
Oh, they made the VR thing. Okay, cool.
简而言之，
Solar to the beach. Alright.
作为对达成指定目标的挑战。
It's just not like okay. Well, like I mean, I'm honestly fine with mini games, rhythm games. I suck at rhythm games by the way, but yeah.
带来3首充满活力的曲目。
Oh, there's a collab with Mustache. Oh, okay, interesting. I didn't expect that, but okay, cool.
哦，
All right, we'll just skip ahead because probably like not much lore value in this.
拉海洛来
Laharoy Blocks. So Laharoy Blocks, if you remember, was the game that Ameth played on her console. Yeah, bro, kind of crazy. A student named Teteris. I don't think I need to explain to you guys where that reference comes from, but yeah, have it as you will.
非常本土。
玩法新的关卡，通过即可结束。哦，你肯定也来，创作者确
Enjoy a feast.
计划吧。
这真是能量
Fantasy.
绿色，画面也非
You.
拉海洛特色餐食。
Oh, I know this game. That's cool. Okay.
哦，天赋其实
Wait. A legion known as the Knights of the Wild.
人类，而是天为
Mecha Scouts.
习惯称他们为原野。
Okay, so it's an event.
活动原野骑士将会开启
Now even the Guardians need your help.
需要修复的骑士是
Oh, it's another minigame. Okay, cool. That's fine. Main quest progresses. Whispers between the stars. Like gems in the rivers of memory. Companions. Oh, it's an event. Okay, so I thought it was a main story quest, sorry.
特定共鸣者的相处时光。
Oh, share meaningful moments of specific resonators. So a lot of Lahire resonators. Okay. And this is pretty good because like you get to see Lene and Monya outside of just like the actually released him. Which is a pretty good like kind of like step up, right?
期待各位股收获。
结束后获得奖励。
阵谍兵先
Double point matrix pilot. Okay. Yep.
各位漂泊者完成彼岸的
Ooh, that's a pretty cool looking bike. That's pretty cool. Siglon bike.
专属机旅印章，超越
Past the end state doomsday cycle.
等奖励。此外，海维亚也将在全新战略的战斗难度
High Vatia. I'm not looking forward to this, guys. I'm not looking forward to fighting Hainesha.
胜利也会在更
Okay.
白兔和气质
Oh, we talk about the Miko.
走过的路凝结飘落，
Wait, is this the character for the character for the second half, like for the banner of the second half?
特别的装束和气质，和星之学院的大家看起来很是不同。看着
She not well, obviously not. She's probably from Shinohara.
是的，但可以透露的是，
Oh, okay. Yeah, Miko and her name is Hiyuki. I don't know Japanese, but I do know that Yuki means like white snow, right? Ah, Miko, and like Miko's a shrine maiden, as we said before. Okay, so her name's Hiyuki. I don't know what that means, by the way.
会在3.2版本的潮汐序文中登场。
3.2 after story. So she showed. I feel like she's going to be really important, and as we said before, the fact she's linked to Lucilla means that she's going to be very important, perhaps being linked to Sentinel.
她与明世之间似乎有着
Wait. There seems to be a long-standing connection between her and the Frenodian. Oh shit. Because remember, in 3.0, at the end of 3.0 with Lene's story, I think there was like a grand architect, kind of like scientist thing, that said that like the chapter where the girl bonds with the Frenodian must be delayed. So this may be her. I thought she was a Sentinel, like more linked to Sentinel. But maybe it's like the Sentinel and the Frenodian, because maybe the Frenodian like screwed up the Sentinel that was meant for Shinohara, and that's why she's like kind of like she has a connection to Frenodian, because she's been fighting it this whole time, maybe to free up the Sentinel. I don't know.
而一些关于她的过
The flaming red in memory, Flatia, facing rumors of a ghost Miko. Echo the legend of the Lady Miko from a distant homeland, which is probably Shinohara, right? And as we said before, it may be that Shinohara was mostly destroyed because they didn't get their own Sentinel. Maybe the missing Sentinel, that Crash Land of the Hyrule was to do with the Shinohara, maybe? I feel it can't just be me, right? I feel like she's really linked to Sentinel, and we already got confirmation that she links very heavily to the Frenodian, which further confirms that she may also be linked to Sentinel of the Hyrule. It's just that, of course, they don't want to tell you that there's a Sentinel of the Hyrule at the moment, even though we've got a lot of clues that there is.
而一些关于她的过往与信息
Okay.
将在活动
Unfold an event.
一个任务。
Alright.
参与活动
So it's going to be kind of like the Ameth story, where before Ameth's story, there was this sort of event where you had to kind of decipher her messages and stuff. So I feel like this is going to be very similar. It may be that 3. Like she becomes really important in 3.3.
获得新生等奖励。
学院中也有经过一些关于
Some true, some not.
好的。
Okay.
在驾驶
Okay, so like these are like bug fixes. I'll just skip through them because you guys can kind of like do whatever, right? Besides that, what else is there? I saw something like Shorekeeper,
开发中啦。
an android. I want to get that. Shorekeeper is my favorite character.
整体的造型看起来
Oh, that's kind of bomb. That's kind of bomb. And that's the third code.
以上就是本次
And besides that, that's kind of the end of the live stream. I won't really push this any further because I don't know how long this video is, but judging by how long I paused and talked about the video, it seems pretty long, right? So without any further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the live stream. I'll be working in the Carlotta video in the meantime. I'll try to get that out before 3.2 hits. But hopefully you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.